Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Just a quick note on this podcast, this video. Around the 11, 12 minute mark, there's this really weird thing that happens with the sound, and I didn't pick it up until I was editing. But all of a sudden, my voice gets deeper, and I sound like a crazy person. Anyways, the audio is still recorded, so you can hear my words. But just that's definitely not my natural voice, and I don't know why, but I get really deep, and I sound like I don't know. I'm sure somebody could think of something bad. I'm tend to think it's I'm like all of a sudden Barry White or something like that. So I don't know why it sounds that way. It's a weird thing that happened with the mic. It's working fine now, so I have no idea what happened. But anyways, just a heads up, and that's it. Hope you enjoy the video. Good morning, friends. Afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Hey, I have an apology to make. I haven't recorded in, I think it's been over a week or right at a week. Last week was crazy, guys. I'm in Texas and the snowpocalypse happened and it just threw off everything. You know, when you're sitting down for a week in your house and just stuck there, it really forms some bad habits. You can really get out of the work habits, all that, and that just it's not great. It's not great at all. I want to say we were so blessed during that. We never lost power, which is just crazy. We lost water for about 3 days, and then when the water came back, it was nasty and a trickle, but we still had it. So very blessed. Thank God we bought water filters. But yeah, it was just a crazy, crazy time. So, but we're back now. I'm back and hopefully getting more consistent with this, and just want to thank you all for listening and checking out these videos and everything, and this podcast, whether you're listening or watching, just appreciate it. So today we're going to do something a little different. I've been one of the nice things about stepping back is it gave me a lot of time to process and just really kind of look ahead and see like what I want to do going forward. What is this all going to be? What is this show going to be? Where am I going to take it? What am I going to do with it? I have a lot of plans, a lot of hopes for the future and this content, more stuff I'm going to be launching in the next couple of months. That's really exciting. I'm super excited about it, but I wanted to think about what's this show. So far, it's been kind of like a catching up on the news, trying to give a little kingdom perspective on it. And that will definitely always be a part of it. But I just really was focusing this week and thinking, praying with the Lord and just thinking to myself, what do I have the most to offer? What is the best thing for me to give? There's plenty of good news shows out there. And even though I'm really good at researching and I pay very close attention to things, I probably not the best person on just reporting. There's a reason this is called the Kingdom Lens. I want to really focus on what God's doing and not just what's going on in the world. And just like everybody else, this whole year was crazy, from COVID shutting everything down to the election that was, dare I say, unfair to, I remember I'm on YouTube, so I'm going to be careful with my words a little bit. I don't want to get banned. Let's just say it wasn't the outcome I hoped for, and I don't believe the process was fair. So that's how I'll leave it. But all that, I worked through a lot of anger, disappointment, some betrayal that happened to me earlier this year. Just so much has been going on. And I realized like I've been wrestling with a lot myself and just trying to find my way back. Because a lot of where I've been the last 12, 14 months is not where I've been at my best. And I don't think anybody has. And so and if you have been, God bless you. You really were walking in some major grace there. But it's been hard for a lot of us, and I feel like I'm starting to get clarity back in my life again, and joy and peace is coming back, and it's been great. And I want to stay on that because that's where we're at our best. That's where God wants us, so we can give the most. And not that He's not there to cover us in our weakness, of course. Obviously, that's one of my favorite verses in the Bible when Paul talks about that. But but we're still like, we're still our best when we're closest with God and got our best perspective in the world. So today there's a lot of news going on. A lot of news. I don't know how much of it's important. I was going to do a newscast yesterday, kind of like I've been doing, and it just didn't feel right. I wanted to talk about the Supreme Court rulings on the voter fraud. I wanted to talk about, there's just a number of things going on. A lot of political stuff. I want to go more into the Texas energy issues. And the truth is, there is a lot going on with things. And when I feel they're really important, I'll touch upon them. But I didn't want to give them too much attention because even though it's news and even though it's happenings, I don't think it's what we should be focused on. I don't think it's very important right now. So instead, I was just praying this morning and I was like, God, what do you want me to talk? What do you want me to deliver to people? And I really just felt this overwhelming sense of hope. This overwhelming sense of hope. This overwhelming sense of things are so much better than they appear right now. And it doesn't mean that in the physical and the natural, there's not things that are hard right now. I'm not negating that at all. As a historian and a political scientist, I can tell you that in America, it's not the worst it's ever been. And anybody who tells you that just is not a very good student of history. But it's not far off, at least on the spectrum of perception. And there's some really hard things going on right now. We're really in a battle for our country. But I want to tell you that the battle is not ours, it's God's. We are part of that battle. We are going to fight with prayer. But the best thing for us to do right now is to stay close to Him and live in the fruit of the Spirit. And if, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, happiness, goodness, kindness. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. It's all in Galatians. You can get the whole list. And those are the things we're supposed to be in. And nowhere in there do I see anger. Nowhere in there do I see despair. Do I see hopelessness? No, it's nowhere to be found when we're walking out as royalty in Christ, in the kingdom, what He made us to be, the new man that we are. And nowhere is that. And so today I just, as I was praying, the Lord took me back to Psalm 37, which I have been in all year last year. That Psalm has held my hand. It has given me hope. It has kept me going in really positive ways. And when I felt sometimes I was kind of losing my way as far as my outlook on everything. And I just want to say that it's been hard. It has been hard, but really good things are on their way. And so let's just dive right in. I want to just go through it. And that's what I was going to do today. We're going to go through it. We're going to talk about it, how it relates to our current experience. And we're going to break this down. This is a message of hope. And so I'm going to title it that, and that this is a message of hope. And we're going to just get a hope infusion right now for our country, for our lives, for everything, because I truly believe with all my heart the best is yet to come. So let's go through this right now. Now, it's funny because lately I've been in the Passion Translation more than any other translation. Ever since the Lord first introduced me to the Passion Translation through Bill Johnson at Bethel, it has been the translation that's spoken to me the most. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is that the Passion Translation is the most modern translation for language, but with also accuracy. A lot of the modern translations, including the NIV, which I've always loved, they've become political in nature. There's the latest NIV has omitted numerous references, and there's the people in charge of it. They're not Kingdom Christians, if they're Christian at all. It's become a business, and there's certain things they just don't want us to know that are in the Bible, and it's small things they tweak. That they just omit like a word here or there or a certain phrase here, not like an entire verse, but they do it in a very sneaky way that it's something, one of those things that'll just do damage over time if we stay there. And I love the NIV, and I'm going to use the NIV right here. But that hurts. And the truth is, the more popular a version has been and the more money it's made, the more likely it is now to be corrupted. And hopefully, I know the ESV is still really good, and hopefully it doesn't filter in anything. But the truth is, we always have to know what's going on behind the scenes with our Bible translations, because they are businesses. They're run by businesses, and not all of them are pure. I like the Passion because I know Brian Simmons, the main translator behind it, I know he is a man of God. He's a kingdom believer, and he felt commissioned by God to do this new translation. It's not just him. He's overseen by other theologians with their doctorates, so it is very crafted. But one thing he does that others don't do is he goes into the actual, sometimes the Arabic translations, which is a very passionate language. And so Brian, he goes into the Passion, and he pulls out what he believes the Lord is speaking through a verse in not just word for word meaning, but also meaning as far as thoughts and emotions. And I love it. It just really speaks to me. It's a very pure version of the Bible. I wouldn't say it's the best like word for word translation, because for a lot of reasons, one of the main reasons being, though, is that there is no such thing. There isn't. And there's people who will say like the ESV is, or get an Amplified. And that's great. Try reading the Amplified, though, as a devotional. It doesn't work. But the truth is, Greek and Hebrew, and even Arabic, don't translate 100% to English. So it's actually impossible to do a perfect word for word translation of the Bible. So what's important is that we get the language. We get the language and the meaning. And I believe the Passion Translation does that very well. I believe currently it does it the best out of any modern translation. And by modern, I mean translations going on today that speak to us in our language. Because even like, even the NIV, like the 2011, which is the last best version of the NIV, even the ESV, they still are translating in a way that's very early 1900s. And so connect. There's words that just we barely use anymore, and there's other ways of saying those things now. And so, anyways, all of that to say, that's why I currently prefer the Passion. However, God brought me to, and also I want to say the Passion doesn't have most of the Old Testament yet. He's still working through it. So for Old Testament, I still use NIV, except for Psalms, Proverbs, and Song of Solomon, and now Isaiah is in Passion. But anyways, God led me to Psalms today in the NIV, which I haven't done in a long time. And so let's just go through this. This is just a brilliant, beautiful psalm, and it's so relevant for today. And so I'm going to read and provide commentary, and we're just going to build ourselves up right now in hope and expectation for good things to come for our nations and for us as individuals. Because right now, the news is dark. There's a lot of darkness in the news. And if you don't know how to read it with a kingdom lens, which is what this podcast is all about, if you don't know how to read it through a kingdom lens, if you feel your emotions going to a place of despair or anger or fear, that's not the kingdom lens. That's not the lens Jesus gives us, the Holy Spirit gives us. That means we're reading it through our human perceptions and understanding, and even through a warped end times theology, which many have. In fact, yesterday Chris Valentin posted, and I loved it. I shared it, and I just passionately said, I hate this lie. But he just shared this amazing post about how one of the greatest lies in the church is that in the end times, the church will get lighter, but the world will get darker. And that's actually not true. It's a bad understanding of Scripture. It never says the world will get darker. It does say darkness will cover the earth, but that's also talking about when Jesus came. Okay, that was the darkest time in history when Jesus came. The truth is, we're the light of the world, and light keeps spreading. Light cannot be overtaken by darkness. It's impossible, unless it's snuffed out, which it isn't snuffed out. There's more righteous people today than at any point in history, and that's just a fact. It is a clear-cut fact, and there's no discounting the fact at all. There are more righteous people today at any point in history. There's more Christians at any point in history today. There are more, not just as a number, but also as a percentage, which that is huge. So that is just a fact. The world is not getting darker. But what is happening is the darkness is getting darker where it's at, because it's getting pushed more and more and more into corners, into areas, and it's forced to reveal itself now. Whereas before, when darkness covers everything and there's just pockets of light, everything just seems dark, and it's easy for the darkest parts to hide. But as that gets dispelled, as light spreads, the darkest, darkest stuff gets pushed into corners, and it's forced to reveal itself. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing darkness has been in our country, in our government specifically. We're seeing it pushed into a corner, and it's starting to reveal itself. In fact, it's been revealing itself for a while. I believe that was the number one assignment God had upon President Trump, was to expose darkness, and boy, did he. It is more obvious now than it's ever been. That's what's happening. We're seeing the darkness. So it feels like it's more, but it's actually not. And it's very important to keep that perspective. It's very important to realize truth, and truth isn't always what's staring us in the face. Sometimes you have to go digging for truth. There's the proverb, rather, and I can't remember the exact reference right now. I'm sorry for that. But it says, like, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and it's the glory of kings to seek that out. So God will conceal stuff from us, but as royalty, as Peter says, we're now a royal priesthood. As royalty, it's our honor to go seek out truth. So sometimes you have to go seeking for the truth. It doesn't always hit you in the face. All right, all that to say, let's get back to hope. So Psalm 37, and I am going to jump back and forth sometimes to the Passion, just to give you extra perspective, but mainly going to be reading from the IV. So right away, do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they'll soon wither. Like green plants, they'll soon die away. We're seeing a lot of evil right now. And I want to be very careful right now not to label people as evil, because even though I do believe there can come a point where a person is fully walking in evil, I don't believe they can fully be evil until they've died and not accepted Christ. I do think that no one is beyond redemption. And I just don't see any. Now, there are verses in the Bible that talk about people who've experienced and turned away, and I don't even know exactly what to do with that verse. I do believe that, so let me say, I hold this intention. I do believe there's a possibility that a person who's experienced Christ and then rejected it might get to the point of not ever coming back. I don't want to make a theology out of that. That's in Hebrews 6, and walk that out with the Lord, your understanding of that. I do believe there's a possibility of that, but there's nowhere else in the Bible to give that more context, especially in the New Testament. And the baseline we always need to work for, or work from, is that everybody can be redeemed. Nebuchadnezzar is a great example of this in the Old Testament, where Nebuchadnezzar, wicked king, horrible king, killed the Jews, took them into captivity, and then becomes redeemed king before he dies. So there are examples, even the worst people being repentant and changing. So we always got to go, that needs to be our baseline. And also the next thing I want to say, remember when I read this and there's talking about evil and the wicked, our battle is not against flesh and blood. Okay, it's very clear. Our battle is no longer against flesh and blood. It is against the rulers, the principalities of the air, which are demons, the demonic. So that means evil theologies, evil practices, evil teachings, evil belief systems, evil, you name it. All that stuff can be evil, and is. I believe socialism is evil, if you want to make it political right now. I believe it's pure evil. Not so much in intent for some people. Some people really believe socialism could be a good. So it's not always the intent of socialism that's evil, it's the practice that's evil, because it always ends bad. So I believe that's evil, abortion, stuff like that. So things can be evil and should be recognized as evil. We should judge those things as evil, but not people. And so when I read this in the Old Testament, it was talking about people, but in the New Testament, we're talking about ideas, the demonically influenced ideas and actions, okay? So don't be envious of those who do wrong. So we see a lot of people doing wrong. They will wither, green plants will soon die away. So either their evil will end and they'll be redeemed. This is a New Testament perspective. or they will eventually pass away and justice will be done. So here's important for us. I love this. This verse stuck out to me today. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. We got to trust in God right now. We have to trust in him more than we've ever trusted in him before. And I love where it says, dwell in the land, enjoy safe pasture. It's really easy to leave. As somebody who grew up in California, I know a lot of people want to just bail on California right now. I left California, but I didn't leave by choice. God led me out of California. My heart would still be there, even with all the hardship going on. Now, I'm very grateful God brought me to Texas right now because it's so much freer, and I would be suffering more if I was in California for sure. But there's something in me that still loves that state. And I love Texas. I love North Carolina, where I've spent a lot of time. There's a lot of states I love. There's something about California that still feels like home. And this verse I think is important because let's take it at an American perspective. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. That's God giving us a promise. Our promised land is the United States. And we need to trust in the Lord and continue to do good. And if we dwell in this land, we will enjoy safe pasture. And that just really rang true to me today. The next verse, one of my favorite verses of all time. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. I love that so much. I do want to jump to the Passion Translation real quick. And on verse 3, this is so good. Keep trusting in the Lord and do what's right in his eyes. Fix your heart on the promises of God, and you will be secure, feasting on his faithfulness. What a powerful statement right there. Fix your heart on the promises of God. I believe the promises of God over our nation are still to be a light on the hill, to be the beacon of freedom for the world, and to spread from there. I do believe that. I believe God called America to that. It's in the destiny of our land, and I don't believe the destiny is going away. So I'm going to continue to fix my heart on those promises for our nation. Next, verse 5, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, he will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. This is such a powerful verse to me too. That word vindication just leapt off the page to me today. I know personally there's a lot of things that I like all of us who have been wrong, we yearn for vindication. And so that was a personal verse to me, but it also for me is a national verse for those of us standing in the gap, those of us fighting. Our vindication will come. Our vindication will come because I know that this is the side of righteousness, the side that's fighting for life. And I don't mean Republican or Democrat. I mean the people who are fighting for freedom, for life, for righteousness. Those three things, if you're on the side of those three things, we're going to win. That's all there is to it. So if you're fighting for life, you're against abortion, you're for building people up and not shutting them down. You're for freedom, which means the freedom to be yourself, but not just the freedom not to harm people. You know, that is something. When we get freedom in the Lord, it's not freedom to sin, it's freedom from sin. So we got to be very careful in how we look at freedom. Freedom means your opportunity to go after prosperity and the life you desire that God built in you. That is true freedom. And I do believe that for every man, woman, and child. I want that in our nation. I don't believe anybody should be denied opportunity in our nation. There's consequences. Say if you're a felon and you might have to serve your justice, I'll let the Justice Department decide with that. There's consequences to sin. There's consequences to harming people. But long term, I still believe that everybody should initially have that opportunity, that open door to pursue the life that they're called to, that is in their heart to be. And so freedom, any of those things, I believe that those people standing up for those things, vindication's coming. I really, truly believe that. So a lot of us been battling a lot of discouragement lately. It's not going to last. I really believe that. We need to take our courage from the Lord right now, be encouraged by him, and we need to just keep fighting forward with love, with resolve, and without compromise. There can be no compromise on certain things. I can't compromise on abortion. I can't compromise on sex trafficking. I can't. You know, so we have to know where it's important to stand for righteousness. And I believe that 75 plus million people stood for that when they voted for Donald Trump in this last election. I know some people who are Democrats who voted for Joe Biden that I don't think they're bad people. I think they were ignorant, and I think they were highly misinformed, and they trusted that instead because they let their emotions make decisions for them over their brain. They didn't trust real news. Um, and I hope they come out of that. There will be consequences of those choices. There already are. Um, but they're not bad people. But there are a lot of people who voted for because they want widespread abortion. They're okay with sex trafficking because it doesn't bother them or they're involved in it. There's some horrible things going on right now in our nation, and that's why I loved our president Donald Trump so much, because he wasn't Republican. He was a true righteous man. I don't care what you think about that. He ruled righteously. Doesn't matter that his mouth might be crass. It doesn't matter that he might be a bully sometimes. He reigned righteously, and so it was the righteous vote to vote for him, and we will be vindicated. I 100% believe in that. Be still before the Lord, wait patiently on him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. This really stood out to me. There's a lot of fretting going on right now because it seems like the enemy is winning. He's not. He's never winning. He might win a battle here or there, but the war has already been decided. He's not winning. So we should not fret when they succeed in their ways, when the wicked schemes are being carried out. So don't fret, okay? It's time to get back to a good place. Refrain from anger, turn from wrath. Don't fret, it only leads to evil. Again, this is powerful. Refrain from anger. I lived in a lot of anger last year. It was really difficult for me. I love our nation. I love our nation. I love people. And there was so much pain last year, so much wrong, so much injustice. And but I walked in too much anger, and I had to process a lot of that with the Lord. It's gone now, thank God. But it still rises up sometimes. But it's not a sin to be angry. It's a sin to stay in anger and to act from anger. So, and I've finally got back through that. But we should refrain from anger and turn from wrath. So good. Those who are evil will be destroyed. Those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. And this is just powerful for me. I posted this today on social media. But those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. We're going to inherit our country back. We're not losing this. This is not the end, folks. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. The best is yet to come. A little while and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they won't be found. The meek will inherit the land. There it is again. Inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. I want to say that despite all that's been going on this last year, my family has prospered. We're doing better than we've ever done. We're very blessed. And I don't just mean financially. I mean in a lot of things. There's still been a lot of hard stuff, for sure. But we're prospering. We're still in a better place now than we were even a year ago, which is God's grace. And God holds his promises true. The wicked plot against the righteous, gnash their teeth on. The Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. I just want to say real quickly on that. That's verses 12 and 13. I've asked the Lord a couple times about what's going on, and I've come to him in like this really scared, in a meek place, and I could hear him laughing. So I don't think the Lord's too worried right now. The wicked draw the sword and bend the bow to bring down the poor and needy, to slay those whose ways are upright. But their swords will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. I love this verse. There's a theory going on right now that one of the reasons the military wasn't called in, one of the reasons, and I feel like Trump fought really hard to secure a fair election, but he did it through the ways that are already been corrupted, the courts, the political atmosphere, and he did that. So, and I think knowing that ultimately he'd lose, and as disappointing as it was for all of us, the long-term wisdom of it is that these people, the people advocating evil right now, building an evil government, they are going to eat their own, and they're going to fall apart on their own. They're going to stumble. And I think this verse really shows that right there. They bend the bow, draw the sword, bring down the poor and needy, to slay the upright, but their swords will pierce their own hearts. That means they're going to fall on their own swords. And I believe that's already happening. If you see, there's this really funny Twitter account called Biden voters posting their L's online. And it's really funny because this account keeps logging people who voted for Joe Biden and already not liking their votes because he's already broken promises, and he's not doing what they expected. And so they're eating their own, and it always happens. And so long term, I think it was a wiser choice, as much as it hurts in the short term. Better the little the righteous have than the wealth of many wicked, for the power of the wicked will be broken. The Lord upholds the righteous. So the Lord is on our side. The blameless spend their days under the Lord's care, and their inheritance will endure forever. In time of disaster they will not wither. In days of famine they will enjoy plenty. This verse was proven true to me again last week when everything fell apart in Texas. My family was protected. We didn't lose power, as I said. We never went cold. We never went a day hungry. We were blessed, and we prospered. And so even though it was hard, there were some hard parts. I mean, it's hard to go without water. But we were fine. And we were fine, and we're great now. So God does take care of us in times of disaster. So again, no matter how bad things might get, we're going to be okay. The wicked will perish. The Lord's enemies are like the flowers of the field. They will be consumed. They'll go up in smoke. The wicked borrow and do not repay. Now, think about our national debt right now. That is very true. They borrow and don't repay, but the righteous give generously. In other words, no matter how hard it gets, guys, we have to maintain generosity so God can bless us. The Lord blesses, those the Lord blesses will inherit the land. Again, third time it says inherit the land. Those he curses will be destroyed. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. I was young, now I'm old. And I love this verse. Yeah, I've never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. They're always generous and live freely. Their children will be a blessing. This couple verses right here are actually some of the main verses my wife and I decided to keep having kids when there's a lot of people who told us to stop. We were poor when we first got married, and for years we struggled. And there were times when we were even afraid to tell our families that we were having another baby. We have 6 kids. We were afraid to tell them because we knew they're going to criticize us, or they weren't going to be excited. It was going to be the, what are you going to do kind of thing. And that's hard to hear, but we trusted God because our children will be a blessing, and never seen the righteous forsaken and their children begging bread. I've lived that. We lived very poorly for a long time, and I kept working. I did everything I could provide for our family, but I didn't make enough. I didn't do enough. And yet the church gathered around us. Miracles happened. People gave to us. People took care of us. We were taken care of. And that was God using all those people to take care of us, because he was holding this promise right here. Their children don't beg bread. And we stayed generous. We lended freely. And our children will be a blessing. Our children are already a blessing, and then they will continue to be. Turn from evil and do good, and we will dwell in the land forever. There it is again. Dwell in the land, inherit the land. For the Lord loves the just and will not forsake his faithful ones. We're not going to be forsaken. Wrongdoers will be completely destroyed. The offspring of the wicked will perish. The righteous will inherit the land. There it is again, and dwell in it forever. Guys, America is at a crossroads, and these things don't happen so that evil can win. They happen so that good can win. If Trump had never been president, first of all, that was God proving it right there. He was saving us. Because if Clinton had become president, she's part of this. She's part of this globalist cabal that wants to basically make us slaves. I mean, I know there will some be critical of the way I say that, but it's true. They want it's not just her. It's not just a handful of people. It's hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of elites of people around the world who they are all in on this, and they want to make it's a creation of their own where they prosper and the rest of us don't, and it keeps them where they're at. They want to develop a system to stay where they're at. And there is the pedophilia stuff is true. It is. Now there's bad information in all that, but the overall arch of that is a major thing happening is true. This goes back to the biblical days, people, where religious leaders who are not Jews, they worshipped Baal, they worshipped Moloch, and that demanded child sacrifice. And that has always happened since the beginning of time, since religion was first instituted in the world. Whenever the enemy develops a religion, it's always the enemy who develops a religion other than Jesus. Always. I don't care if it's a religious Christianity that Jesus isn't in. You can call it Christian, it's not. If it's religion, it's the devil. And that is always, always preyed upon children and the innocent, because he loves to pervert everything. And so it's still gone on, and it always has. So, but here we go, that they will be destroyed and the offspring of the wicked will perish. So if it's not the people, if they are repentant and come back to Jesus, this idea, this evil will be brought to an end. And God's exposing it now, so it can be brought down. And Trump came in, he already changed the trajectory of history. And it's not done. Trump's not done. We're not done as a people. The movement isn't done. It's just getting started. But this evil had to be exposed and be dealt with so we can move on. And I know it feels great, like, and some of us wish for the old days, but we shouldn't. We shouldn't wish for what it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Because if we do, we're wishing that the evil could stay hidden and we could remain oblivious. We can't. It's time to rise up and fight with prayer, not with fists, not with swords, not with guns. It's time to rise up in prayer and spread information and love, and we will win. This will be destroyed. This evil will be destroyed. The mouths of the righteous utter wisdom, and their tongues speak what is just. The law of God is in their hearts, their feet do not slip. I love this. I'm going to go to the Passion for this one real quick too. It's just so good how he expounds on this. God lovers make the best counselors. Their words possess wisdom and are right and trustworthy. I love that. God lovers make the best counselors. The ways of God are in their hearts, and they won't swerve from the paths of steadfast righteousness. We can't swerve, guys. We are God lovers, and the world needs to hear from us as counselors that they know love them. The wicked lie in wait for the righteous, intent on putting them to death, but the Lord will not leave them in the power of the wicked or let them be condemned when brought to trial. The Lord's going to vindicate us, okay? He's not going to leave us in the power of the wicked. It's not going to happen. Hope in the Lord, keep his way. There's that word, hope. Hope. We have to hold on to hope. And hope is not just saying, well, maybe it'll turn out good or maybe someday. No, hope is joyful expectation of good. In other words, we have to stay in joy because we believe it's going to turn out well. And we have to stay expectant for good. Keep his way, and he will exalt you to inherit the land. There it is again, fifth time, inherit the land. When the wicked are destroyed, we'll see it. We're going to see. It's going to be massive. And I'm not just saying this. God hasn't just spoken this in me. This is what the prophets are saying. At least the prophets that are tracking with the Lord. There are some doom and gloom prophets out there. Don't listen to them. Anytime a prophet speaks without hope, throw their word in the trash. It doesn't mean they're a false prophet. It just means they're hearing bad. They're listening to the wrong spirit, or their theology has blocked them. A bad theology has blocked them from hearing the voice of the Lord. And so they're interpreting from their own soul. Any doom and gloom stuff should not be listened to. And there's actually a couple prophets right now who I really respect and love, and they are missing it bad right now. They are missing it bad, and a lot of people are flocking to them right now because they seem like the humble ones, but they are off. They're really off, and it saddens me. I'm not going to go into who they are because I don't want to dishonor anybody. Use your own discernment. But I'm going to tell you right now, if it's doom and gloom, if it's hopeless or judgmental or any of that stuff towards people, if it's not bringing light and hope, it's not to be listened to. Throw it out. And New Testament prophets don't get stoned when they miss a word, okay? They just are to be corrected in their words weighed, okay? I've seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a luxuriant native tree. We're seeing that right now, aren't we? He soon passed away and was no more. I love this, soon. Soon they will pass away. Though I looked for him, he could not be found. Consider the blameless, observe the upright. A future awaits those who seek peace. You hear that? A future awaits those who seek peace. We always have a hope in a future. Always, always. There is no end, okay? There is no end. I know we can get focused on the end times and all that, but we shouldn't. There's no end. There isn't. There's only new beginnings in Jesus. All sinners will be destroyed. There will be no future for the wicked. The salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord. He's their stronghold in time of trouble. Hold on to him, guys. He's our stronghold. He helps and delivers us. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. All right. I'm going to end pretty quickly here because that was the main thing I just wanted to focus on. Reading this psalm, it's a beautiful, beautiful passage. And I want to just communicate hope today. We need to hold on to this. We need to believe the words of the Lord. We need to trust in him. no matter how scary it looks, no matter how bad it looks. If you're getting emotional about this stuff, if you're like, it's okay to feel a little bit like your heart hurts, but then go right to him and get comfort. But if you can't take it anymore, if you're staying in a place of hopelessness and despair, turn off the news. Watch more channels like mine, not just because I love to see people watch my stuff, but no, because I want to impart hope. I don't care if I get 5 viewers, 1,000,000 viewers, as long as people are coming to me and getting hope. That's what I want to impart. We're going to win. We're going to win because we've already won Jesus, and it's just manifesting. And just remember, through all this, go back and read this again by yourself, spend some time with the Lord, ask him what he's saying in it. But remember that all of this has to happen so that evil can be defeated. The evil things going on, it needs to be defeated. Justice needs to come. I keep going before the Lord, and the hardest thing for me is knowing all these children being hurt. Breaks my heart. I love kids. But God is going to bring them justice. And we cannot give up. If nothing else, do it for them. Nothing else, do it for them. So, all right, folks, that's it for now. I'm going to be recording more this week, though, so just stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe if this helped you at all. I'm just going to keep this content going, and God bless you all. We're winning. Amen.